Hello students, Michael Sanchez, violin teacher here. Hope you guys are having a good day. So today I'm going to be teaching students out there some tips regarding playing the violin at the beginner level. So just to give you guys a background on me, I'm Michael Sanchez. I've been playing violin for 25 years. I'm the author of the book Fiddle for Dummies. So if you guys have seen 4 dummy books that are in a lot of stores, I'm the one that wrote the fiddle version. I really enjoy teaching others how to play, and have a website that you guys can visit to learn the violin at violintutorpro.com. I'm going to quickly show you guys the site and show you how you can sign up next time to actually join me in the live class to ask questions. So I actually redid the home page of Violin Tutor Pro, so it looks really nice now and actually has updates of the classes we're going to be doing. So if you see here on the right side, we have an area where you can actually view the classes that we're going to be doing for the next week or so. As you can see right here, the first one, how do I start playing violin? That's the one we're doing today right now. But we're doing a vibrato class on Wednesday. Saturday we're doing a giveaway. And then next week, Monday, we're going to be giving students 5 tips on learning the violin. So I encourage you guys to go to violintutorpro.com and join my classes. It's very easy to join. You just click the link and sign up. We'll go from there. All right, so for today's class, I wanted to just kind of give you guys insight on some of the basics of learning the violin. So obviously, you know, some of you guys might have an instrument, some of you guys might not. As you can see, I have quite a few violins behind me. I sell instruments on my website at superiorviolins.com. So you guys can browse that website. But once you guys actually have an instrument, then it's you know, time to actually start learning it. So the first thing that I kind of make sure students understand is just making sure that they know the importance of how to hold the instrument. So make sure that as you guys are holding the violin, that you're paying attention to keeping the violin level to the ground. You don't want to have it down like this. What this does is actually causes your bow to really kind of fall off the strings. So it makes us basically fight gravity as we're trying to play. So make sure that your instrument is level when you're first starting. Next thing I want to make sure you guys are able to do is hold the instrument with no hands. So as you can see, I have no hands on the instrument. I'm holding it up between my chin and my shoulder. That allows me to be free in being able to actually place my hand on the instrument but not relying on the hold. The reason for this is that we eventually want to be able to move the hand up and down as well as do what we call vibrato. Vibrato is when we shake the finger to make a beautiful sound. So this is what vibrato sounds like. So now if I was grabbing the instrument really tight, I wouldn't get that nice vibrato. I would get more of this. Like that. So if you guys are first starting out, most students, what they do is they rely on holding it here, and then that really restricts them later to be able to do vibrato and shift. So make sure that you guys are getting really good at this. You can walk across the room and back, trying to keep it level, trying to not rely on holding it. That would be the first thing that I teach beginners. Next thing you probably want to make sure of is that you have what's called a shoulder rest, and there's different types of shoulder rests. It's basically a tool that goes in the back of the instrument. There's a lot of different types of shoulder rests out there. I highly recommend just visiting different websites and doing some research. I personally like Kuhn shoulder rests. I think they're really comfortable, and they help in being able to hold the instrument more secure with not quite as much effort. So it's not something you have to have, but it's definitely going to be helpful to be able to do this technique in fundamental properly. So that would be the next thing I tell students. Next, we want to make sure that you guys understand proper placement of the left hand. We'll get to the right hand in just a moment. So the left hand is basically the hand that actually goes onto the instrument. So what I want to make sure you guys do is understand the 4 steps that I tell every student. You guys might want to write this down. Step 1 is making sure that your thumb position is right here. Most students, when they start playing, they just kind of grab the instrument randomly and they don't really have much attention to detail. But it's very important to have attention to detail when it comes to this. Make sure the thumb is here, not here. See how far back this is? We want to be here. About an inch away from the nut. My thumb goes. Don't have it too high. Don't have it too low. Try to just have it just right. That's step one. Step two is making sure that your hand is far back to where it actually is right up against the nut. This is the nut. I mentioned the thumb goes an inch from the nut. We want the hand to actually be right up against the nut. So notice my thumb is here and my hand is here. A lot of students, they start playing the violin with their hand here, which causes a lot of issues later because eventually we want to be able to find notes back there. But see how I'm having to reach back to do that? I don't want to do that. I want to just be in a position where I can just squeeze my finger back, which is a lot less effort and allows me to be more accurate. So really important for these two things to be in place, the thumb and the hand back. Next, I want to make sure that my hand is high enough. So a lot of students, when they start playing, their hand is really low, like this, instead of being up higher. This little difference between here and here makes the world of a difference. The reason is that when you're playing notes in the violin, you want to just be able to let your fingers fall down without any sort of reach or extra effort. If I'm low, though, I have to kind of do this to find my notes. I don't want to do that. So we want to make sure the hand is high enough. Ideally, you can find a note on the thinnest string here, and also find the fourth finger on the thickest string without moving the hand. And that's how high you should be. So if I was down here, sure, I could find the first finger, but then my hand would have to creep up to find that fourth. So we want to actually just be in that position all the time. Okay, so we have the thumb position, we have the hand back, we have the hand high. Step 4 is turn about an inch away from the fingerboard. Okay? If you guys do those 4 steps, you're in the perfect position to be able to find notes in the violin. 1, 2, 3, 4, drop. Once you're there, you're going to be able to find notes on the E string, notes on the G string, and basically have minimal effort. So now when my hand is this high, I actually have to put very little pressure into the string. I'm about as efficient as you can get so I can play fast. If I'm just relying on my fingers to find all the notes, like this, and not actually my hand, then I can play fast, efficient, and in tune. Hope that makes sense. I see a couple students are actually here with us right now, Cindy and Claudio. I encourage you guys to ask questions on the chat area. Anybody that actually comes into the live class can do that. I also check the events page, which allows you guys to actually post questions. So I'm going to look at that area right now. Some of you guys might be streaming the class. I'm just going to post a message and say hello. So you guys will be able to access the events page right on my website, and I check over there frequently as I'm doing the class just to be able to answer your questions. So feel free to post in that area, or anybody that's here live could ask, as well as go on audio. Okay, so far we've covered keeping the instrument level. We've covered making sure you're holding it properly with no hands. We've covered the 4 steps of actually holding onto the instrument. 1, 2, 3, 4, drop. So those are basically the first 3 big things that I teach when trying to help students. So let's put the violin down for just a moment. And now let's go into the bow hand. Lots I can talk about there. Okay, so holding the bow is the most important thing that you can do either properly or improperly on the violin. I call holding the bow basically working on the breath of your notes. It's the breath of the violinist. It's kind of like if you were to sing, you wouldn't hold your neck while you're singing and expect to get the best tone. The same idea goes with if you hold the bow too tight and you don't really pay attention to how you're holding it, you're going to have a really hard time getting a good sound. So this This is kind of the sound I'm going to get if I kind of grab the bow too tight. Not very good. If I have the proper hold. So lots to talk about with the bow hand, so I hope you guys pay really close attention. All right, so the first thing that I tell students is how important it is to have fingers natural and curved. So if you just kind of take your other hand, your left hand, and kind of just hold on to your right forearm, I want you guys just to do this a second. Just kind of let your hand be really free, no restriction. Just let it kind of drop. You'll notice that the fingers are naturally curved. So your fingers are not going to be like this if they're natural and relaxed, right? They're going to be natural like this. This is the exact way we want the fingers to lay on the bow. So as you can see, this is my natural state. Watch how it's almost exactly the same as I hold onto the bow. Okay? So there isn't any sort of change or grab that I'm doing to try to get control, which is actually not control, it's actually hurting yourself. So first thing I want you guys to pay attention to is just keeping fingers curved. The number one bad habit of holding the bow is not keeping these two fingers curved and relaxed, the thumb and the pinky. Okay? Now it kind of goes a step further in that you don't want this to be tense. You want this to be really loose. So I should be able to easily spin my thumb around like this without any sort of restriction, right? I want it to be loose, which is going to feel unnatural for you guys. You guys are going to want control, but that's actually incorrect. So loose thumb. My pinky should not be stiff like this. This would be incorrect. See how my pinky is stiff? I want to keep my pinky curved on top of the bow. These three fingers, you're going to want to kind of grab the bow and that's kind of your control of the bow. That causes bow bounce and bad sounds. So we actually want these three fingers to just be there, but not actually be pressing. We want them to be loose and relaxed. Okay? Okay, so as far as holding it, pay attention to where my index finger is right now. My index finger is not here. It's right here. That's how far over we want the index finger to be. See where the winding is? We want it just to be before the winding. We don't want to be up here. We want it just to be right there. And then we don't want to be here. We want to be here. So right kind of where that joint is. And then we want to just kind of let the index fall over as well as the rest of our fingers. The pinky's going to kind of land just right on top. So this is what it should look like. So my index finger is hanging over the stick as well as my bottom three fingers. And then my thumb is going to go into this groove here. Right here. It's going to be curved and go into this groove. Okay? So this would be incorrect. It would be incorrect to have my thumb stiff. So if I was to bow like this, if I was to have my thumb really tense right here, that's going to cause that sort of sound. So I need to curve the thumb. My thumb's curved, not like this, curved. My fingers are relaxed and loose. Like that. So just to back up a bit, just to kind of give you guys maybe some tips about the physics behind this. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep this bow as relaxed as possible as far as tension goes. So the bow should be really loose as it's on the strings. If you're doing anything to the bow that makes it tense, that makes it hard to move, if I was to come over while you're playing and try to grab the bow from you, and you kind of were grabbing onto it so tight that you wouldn't let me get it, that's what we're talking about with tension. We want to avoid that tension. That tension is what causes bad sound. So a lot of people say, my bow is bouncing or my bow is not working, what's going on? It's actually just how you're holding on to it. You're making the bow tense and not letting it breathe. Kind of like you're holding on to your mouth while you're trying to speak or sing. So being able to have the bow this flexible is the key to getting a good sound. Hope that makes sense. Maybe I'll check to see if you guys have any questions right now, just kind of going into the events area. So I know this is kind of a new platform that you guys aren't maybe as used to yet. Eventually, I'm sure I'll see lots of questions. Oh, we have one here from Phil. I have a very bad back. I literally have metal holding half of my spine together. Any stretches, exercises, posture tips to help prevent any damage? Yes, thank you, Phil, for that question. So yeah, I find a lot of students struggle just understanding, you know, how to approach the violin and not get, you know, tense and not and be able to overcome certain difficulties. My biggest advice to you, Phil, is that you have to go into learning the violin with very loose, relaxed hands and muscles. I see students all the time when they're like, let's say they're trying to get their hand high, they force their arm up like this. And basically what that's doing is it's causing tension all up in here, which is unnecessary. Ideally, if you can do this with no violin in your hand, if you guys can just do this for, say, a minute or two, that's exactly how playing the violin should feel like. Because finding notes is all on the tips of your fingers. It's not in the arm. It's not any bit in here. And then holding onto the bow, there shouldn't be any tension up in here either. Everything is right here. Okay? It's kind of like, you know, if everybody out there knows how to write. You wouldn't take the pen and grab it as hard as you can and then expect to be precise with how you're writing like this, right? That'd be impossible to be accurate. And probably you'd get tired after a while, right, in your arm. If you were to do that, you'd say, man, writing is not fun. So, but I'm sure you guys could write for quite a while by using the proper fingers, right? The same concept. So as I'm playing the violin, I'm actually not having to have a lot of struggle, a lot of tension. That actually is what causes it to be harder to play. So get your air violin out. Practice playing without anything in your hands, because actually putting this in your hands is what's going to cause the tension, but it shouldn't be there. So hopefully that helps. If you have any more specific questions about that, feel free to ask. Okay, I'll take another question here in just a moment. So let's just kind of recap what we've talked about so far. So far I've talked to you guys about the importance of keeping the violin level, relying on not holding it with the left hand, we're holding it with the chin, shoulder. We've talked about the left hand placement, the 4 steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, drop. And then we talked about the bow, how to hold the bow properly. The index finger over the stick, the fingers curved and relaxed with the pinky on the top, the thumb curved. So those are the main things we've talked about so far. What I suggest for you guys to do is a drill that I think is going to kind of put all this together a little bit for you. So go ahead and grab your instrument. I want you guys to set the bow on the strings. What I want you to do is I want you to really focus on what you're doing in the right hand regarding holding the bow. And I want you to drop your elbow all the way down to your side, bring it all the way back up. I'm not changing anything in my hand or my fingers. I'm just pivoting the bow up and down with my arm. Okay? So I want you guys to do exactly what I'm doing right now. And the key is I want you to do this without making a sound. I want you guys to be as quiet as possible with making no sound at all. Okay? What you're going to find is if you're getting any sound while doing that drill here, you're probably using the thumb to hold the bow, and maybe you're using too much shoulder muscles. It's kind of like I used to have a UPS driver. You know, he uses all of his force to pick up boxes all day. If he was to do this drill, he would sound like this, right? Not everybody struggles with that as far as the shoulder and the thumb. Some people struggle a little bit more with the pinky being stiff, and also potentially not really using the front finger, the index, to kind of clamp and kind of hold, basically using small muscles and not big muscles. the way to expose that is to do the same drill at the tip. So I want you guys to do the same thing and try not to make a sound while you're at the tip of the bow. Okay? Notice how high up I'm getting with my arm. See how high I'm getting? It's kind of cheating if you're down here and you're kind of doing it like this. That's cheating. So we're trying to bring our arm all the way up above the instrument. We're focusing on how we're holding the bow, and we're trying not to make a sound. If you're getting this, that means that there's something going on in your hand that's causing you to not transition the bow properly. It could be your pinky stiff, it could be your thumb is stiff. If you've never done this before, I would be surprised if you're able to do this perfectly, because a lot of students struggle with how they're transitioning at the tip. Okay? So I hope that helps. That's a really good drill to warm up with, and make sure that you guys are not cheating. Get the arm high enough, focus on how you're holding the bow, etc. Okay, I'm going to take a question right now, and then I'm going to give you guys one more drill to part with today. Go ahead and go back to the events area. See what I can find. Daniel says, I know you talk about focusing on technique at the beginning of practice, which is what you are covering during the video. You said before, to end practices musically, so you don't become too focused on technique. What does that mean specifically? What should you be doing during the last part of your practice? Great question. All right, to answer that, I'd like to first show you guys my website, an actual practice routine challenge that is really great when it comes to how to practice. So right now I'm on violintutorpro.com, as you can see. If I go to challenges at the top here, I'm going to click on one of these challenges that I put together, which is the Get into a solid practice routine challenge. So I'm going to click on that. This is a great setup regarding how to get into a good routine and know exactly what to practice, how to practice, and how to have your mindset when, say, practicing for a half hour. Okay? So the first video kind of covers, the basics. I cover actually showing you guys the drills. I actually showed you guys which drill did I show you today? It's not actually in here, sorry, but all these drills I could show you at some point, but you guys can actually go here and look at that. I have a scale resource, so that would be like the first thing you guys do is practice a scale and the drill. Then I have different resources like books, music to work on, cover a video how much should you practice, how to set up a practice goal, so on and so forth. So I highly recommend going through these, and what you do is after you actually watch the video, you check it off, and then it's like you gain points. It's kind of a fun way to learn and set up your abilities. Towards the end, it actually has the ability for you guys to see if you've met your goals. So I highly recommend this practice challenge. And to answer Daniel's question, basically, at the beginning of your practice sessions, you guys should be focusing on some of the things we've worked on today, like the drills. Then you should be doing more scales. As you get towards the end of your practice session, say you're practicing for a half hour, then you should start thinking less about technique and more about just playing the violin. So that would entail not thinking, every little bit about this or that you guys are struggling with your bow hand, or, how I'm holding the violin properly. You guys should just be trying to put everything together at the level that you're at. So for example, this is how I would be thinking at the beginning of my practice session. All right, I have to make sure I'm holding my bow properly. I'm going to do my drills. I'm going to do a scale. Obviously not that fast, but just give you guys the idea. The second part, I'm going to be thinking more about, okay, am I putting my fingers in the right spots? Is my left hand fundamental set up properly? Is my hand high enough? Is my hand back? Am I relaxed as I'm placing my fingers down? Okay. The third part of your practice session, I want to not think at all about technique and more about just my musicality. So that would be basically where I'm trying to focus more on, okay, am I able to just kind of relax and just get a good sound out of the violin based on the level that I'm at? So can I play a scale, getting to the tip and just create this nice flow? Am I relaxed enough? No matter what comes out of it, don't worry so much about thinking, you know, if I played a wrong note or if I didn't have perfect sound, then I should be thinking about all the technical side of things. That's going to make you too much of a timid player. You're going to have trouble progressing based on you not kind of loosening up and just trying to play towards the end of your practice session. So I highly recommend going through that practice challenge. It should make more sense after you guys go through that. And you know, maybe next week during our class, you guys could ask questions and just make sure you guys are on the right track. Great. So we're just about wrapping up here. I will kind of hang out with the people that are in the live class, just maybe answer a few questions that they might have. You guys should be able to actually join the class quite easily, even those that are watching live right now. You can go to violintutorpro.com, and then if you click on live classes, this is kind of the area where you can stream the class, and you'll see a link that says join the live class. So I'm going to, you know, take questions live from people that are here. So feel free, if you guys are live streaming it now, to do that, or maybe prepare some questions for next week. Awesome. And then, yeah, I hope you guys check out the homepage of the site. I've made a lot of changes so you guys can see what's new in the blog, my newest lessons that I've posted. Obviously, I talked to you guys about the upcoming classes. You guys can sign up for those. Those are all free. Also, on the right-hand side, you can see posts from people in our community asking questions about the violin. I try to go in here as much as possible and answer questions, as well as other instructors that are very helpful that come in here. So, for example, William posted a topic, Ashokan Farewell. So you can easily click on that, and I can watch the video. He says use the whole bow, so I can make a comment if I wanted to. So yeah, the homepage is kind of set up now where you guys can see more of what's going on with the community. You can see all the recent replies from our community. So yeah, it's a fun way to learn the violin and improve your skills. Try to just make it as fun as possible. On the left-hand side, you guys will see everything related to the blog. So you guys can browse all my articles that I've written on the violin. There's quite a few. Here's a vibrato tips article. Talks about relaxing the hand and how to put pressure down, and then using the tips of your fingers. Very good. Hope to see you guys next week in the next class. I'm trying to do beginner classes every Monday at 8 o'clock. So this is the link to the next week's class. I'm going to post it real quickly in the events page. I hope you guys sign up for it, those that are streaming. It's also on the actual live classes page. So hope you guys sign up for that. And all you have to do is come back to the website at that time, click on live classes, and you'll be able to live stream the class. If you happen to miss it, you will be able to see it on this page as well. So here are 2 classes I did last week. You'll be able to stream it. Also, the video will be available on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/violintutorpro. All right, hope you guys enjoyed the class, and hope to see you guys next week. All right, let me take a few questions from anybody that's here right now. I see we have 2 students here, Claudio and Cindy. If you guys want to say something or ask questions, feel free. Look in the chat area, see if you guys are posting anything. Cindy is asking, how do you keep your left-hand wrist from touching the violin? Thank you for that question, Cindy. So yeah, so any student that has their wrist like this, most likely they're holding the violin with the left hand. They're relying on the left hand to hold it. So I just really recommend that you focus on the concept of holding it properly like this. And then as you're placing and doing the 4 steps, there should be no reason to come in with the wrist. My guess is that you're just not quite high enough to where it's comfortable to just kind of let your fingers fall. So try to really get into the habit of the 4 steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, fall. No need for my wrist to do anything. Once you're in that position, you can literally find every single note on the violin in first position. Once you shift, my hand comes up like this. There's no need for it to collapse. So I wouldn't shift like this, right? I would shift just like this. So yeah, you always try to keep this stiff. One thing I actually did recently with a student that was really good is I actually had them hold on to my hand as tight as they wanted from my knuckles down. I told them to hold as tight as they wanted to. And I was able to play anything that I was before because I'm only using my fingers to find my notes. But a lot of students, when they play, they're coming in and out. And obviously, if someone was holding my hand, I couldn't come in and out. So that really proved to them that it really is all about your fingers. It's not about the hand. And by doing this properly and working on this, you're going to also be able to do vibrato and shift easily because everything below the fingers is relaxed. We want, at all times, this to almost be juggly, I'll say. There shouldn't be any tension in here. Should be just like if you were to let your hand sleep and rest. I can do that and just use my fingers to find my notes. The more relaxed you are here, the faster you can actually move the tips of the fingers. But if you're tense, I can only move my fingers so fast. It's uncomfortable, right? Another thing, if you have your hand perfectly relaxed, you can actually stretch your fingers farther, right? So the distance between my pinky and my first finger is the farthest it can be when my hand is relaxed. When my hand is tense, if my hand is tense here, I'm only able to go so far, right? So now my distance is a lot less than before. A lot of people think that, you know, as I'm stretching for like a 4th finger, it's like I really have to reach and get it there to be able to reach it. But it's actually the opposite. If I relax my hand and I have it in the perfect position, I can actually go farther. My hand was tense. Now I can only go so far. So the focus shouldn't be on forcing a note or forcing to get from here to there. It should be setting up to achieve every single note with the fingers. Hope that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up if that made sense. All right, great. Do you want to say something, Cindy, and maybe where you're from and how long you've been playing? Feel free to unmute yourself if you like.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Oh,
sorry.
I hear you have a dog.
We have 2.
All right.
George. Sorry.
So yeah, obviously we've talked a little bit on the phone. I took your violin recently.
Yes.
And you're playing on that right now. So how's things going?
I'm going okay. I've only been playing for just a couple of weeks. I have a hard time trying to relax, like you were talking about, the muscles in the shoulders and down in the arm to the hand. So mainly when I think people are listening to me doing the ee-ee, that I can feel myself tense up and try to play.
Sure. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, there's so many things that can tense up when you play, and it's all about just understanding that it's something to work on, and then doing, you know, various drills. So like the rock and bow drill is really good, but I have quite a few others. I think if you go through that practice challenge, you'll get some more ideas. But yeah, it's always always something to work on. Once you're in that position where you're literally as relaxed as possible, it's kind of like you're in that efficiency mode. It's like you can really progress quite quickly. So just keep working on it, and I think you'll start to see a lot of progress.
Okay, great.
What are some of your goals regarding playing?
I just want to be able to play. I would like to be able to learn how to play by ear.
Okay.
And my son, he right now he plays the guitar, the electric guitar, and now just picked up playing the ukulele by ear. So I'm like, I know violin is tougher to learn, as they say, and you know, there's where they say it's harder for adults, but then other people say not really. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to pick this up and be able to play and be able to relax and enjoy it.
Yeah, it really is. It's all about you know, just getting the fundamentals. It really is only as hard as you getting the fundamentals, because once you have them, it's like learning any other instrument. You know, like the thing is with a guitar, it's easier to get some of those things down. I mean, you technically have a fret that you can put your finger anywhere between a fret, and it's going to, you know, sound the same. Whereas the violin, you literally have to build, you know, that perfect hand position so that you can get into the habit of how to let your fingers fall properly. But if you're doing all the things that you need to do, you're probably getting the feedback from those people that, you know, are doing it properly, and it's not as hard as what, you know, you would think. But then on the other hand, the people that are not working on the fundamentals, those are the people that are like having the hardest time, and probably the people that end up quitting, because you know, it's an impossible instrument to learn without having good technique.
Right.
So good. Thanks for joining us, and yeah, next week same time we'll be doing another class. So hope to have you there.
Great. Thank you.
Great. Claudio, do you want to say something? Just do you have any questions? I see you posted said you're having to work on your left hand.
Yes, I really do. I have been concerned about my right hand too much. I think I got pretty much covered, but I never thought much about my left hand. So that was really good to
Oh,
you
good.
know, to hear
Where are you
that. And
located again?
say what?
Where are you located?
Yeah, I'm located in Brazil.
Ah,
It's a
very good.
city called São Paulo. Yes,
Is there
it's
a lot of people interested in the violin there in Brazil?
to be honest, no. I'm pretty much alone here. So really look for people to
Oh,
share
that's
their
good. So
interest with me,
you
but
feel
it's
at home
very
at
hard.
the Violin Tutor Pro site and just the community and everything?
Yeah, that was a really good thing. The website, I really enjoy it very much. I like the community, and I have been checking pretty much every time. So, and that is helped me a lot. Yeah, I love it.
Well, we appreciate having you as a fan, and hope to bring you to the next level of violin playing.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate your good job.
Thank you very much. Great. So I see, yeah, Troy just kind of popped in and out, so I was gonna maybe say hello to him. But so yeah, Cindy, do you have anything else you want to mention, or any other things you have questions about?
No, I've been trying to practice on holding the bow, which is, yeah, again, it's trying to relax and not have such stiff fingers. I actually have a herniated disc in my neck, so it's weakened my hand. So I'm trying to build up the strength and figure out how to, you know, I can strengthen those fingers. But then again, you're trying to strengthen the fingers, and then it causes you to be tense, and then
Yep.
you're trying to relax. So.
Yep. Yeah, it's an ongoing thing. Number one by far thing that I work on with students is tension management. So well, I've had students that have been even with me for like 3-4 years that they still struggle with tension. I have a doctor student that's literally like her biggest nemesis. Like she cannot, you know, just relax and let, you know, the hands just kind of, do their thing. So yeah, it's not just the beginner level. It's definitely, you know, something most students deal with. But yeah, it's just a matter of working on it, and she's had tremendous progress since she first started. She could really get a sound out of the thing when she first started, and now she's playing in an orchestra, so it's pretty cool. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys. Next week, same time, maybe we'll get some of you other guys that are watching live here. Hope to see you guys in the community. I'll answer all your questions there, and yeah, maybe see some of you guys on Wednesday for the vibrato class.
Great, thank you.
Have a good evening, guys.
You too.
Thank you,